Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial, and for today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this Opulent bracelet. And that's the name I chose off of I Bead For You, and it's made with, of course, memory wire. And you can probably, this bracelet's pretty flexible in size, so you can make this pretty much whatever size you need. And adding this chain here just keeps it safe on your wrist. And the reason I added that chain is because I've had experiences from memory wire bracelets and not putting a closure here, and they just usually pull right off. So this way, this isn't going to happen, and this is why I put this chain here, just to keep it secure and safe on my wrist. So if I happen to snag it, it ain't going nowhere. Okay, so this is why we have this here. And I think it kind of looks nice. You can hang dangles off that if you want, but it just slips right on and it takes back its shape. So it doesn't matter really what size you make this. Now I have an 8-inch wrist, and that's having my bracelet, you know, loose. I don't like bracelets super tight cuffed like this. So you can see I have extra room in here. So whatever size you cut your memory wire, but leave a little opening here so you can put your chain in like this, and you're able to slip it off your wrist without having to open any closures and close anything. Because I've noticed putting on even putting on lobster claws here, I've done that, and the lobster they just twist and turn in here. So I like just to have this little bit of chain and turn this into a really beautiful bangle. So I absolutely love these colors. It's very sparkly and very kind of Christmassy, but more formal, on the more formal side. So today I'm going to do it in some different beads and in different colors. Now in this one here, I got these beads with my grab bag that I bought from Auntie's Beads, and these really pretty amber, I think they're light amber AB rondelles came in the package, and they're absolutely stunning. I love them. So I used those. I incorporated those with 6mm pearls, and I used an 11/0 African sunset bead. It looks kind of red and gold in there, but you can't really see the red. It more looks like a gold color. So I use 6mm pearls, 8mm rondelles, and 11/0 seed beads. That's the only beads I used in this one. Now in this bracelet here, I'm going to use some different beads and show you that you can use almost any bead in this bracelet to achieve the look that you want. So I'm going to show you, I'm doing it in a 6mm. This is a fire polish 6mm in an opaque red. I'm also doing it in a 6mm emerald green round crystal. So this is kind of oval, kind of round. This is round. And I'm using 6mm white pearls for this entire bracelet. I'm using silver line crystal, 11/0 seed beads by Toho. So you're going to need that. Excuse my nails, but I'm breaking them all off. And I can't get them off because I ripped this one off, and look how it takes off a whole entire layer of my real nail. So I just wrecked my nails beyond worse than what they were. Now you're going to need a couple of pieces of chain. I put some nice size in here, and I mean it hangs on my wrist, of course, but it's nothing that's that bad. See, it's small chain, so it's pretty. You can use any chain you want. You're going to need some memory wire, and I recommend you buy memory wire cutters. These are memory wire cutters, and this is memory wire. And memory wire is very, very strong wire, so you don't want to use your regular cutters to cut that memory wire with, because if you do, you will put chips in there and destroy your cutters. If you have an old pair of cutters and you don't care that you chip the crap out of them, then by all means use your old cutters. if you don't have these guys here. And these are reasonably cheap. They're not too expensive, and they're made in Taiwan. Oh. Anyway. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do everything, clean off my board here so I can come back and show you how to do everything. Oops, one thing I want to mention is you're going to need 1.5 inch eye pins. This is what I'm using, 1.5 inch. The 1 inch is a wee bit too short, so don't use the 1 inch. You're going to have trouble with that because you're already going to have, you know, it's going to be really short as it is doing the 1.5 inch. So you're going to need a good stack of those. You're going to need a good stack of pearls. You're going to need a good stack. In this one here, I used 28 pearls on one side and 28 on the other, and then 4 over here. So it's 28 is 46, no, 56. So 56 and 4, so 60 pearls I used in this particular size bracelet to get a size 8. In these ones here, I used 30 crystals in here. So that's approximately, you're going to need about 15 red, 15 green, and about 60 pearls. So whatever you use on the outside of your bracelet, you're going to need the most in that. So if you're making a smaller one, then just get less pearls, that's all. Don't gotta get 60, but if you're gonna make an 8 or bigger, you're gonna need more pearls, okay? And I believe I used 30. Let me just double check that, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Oops, I lied, 28. Okay, so there's 28 crystals in here. Depending on the size of bead that you use on the outer ring of your memory wire, depending on that size, it's all going to depend how many you need. So if you use a 4mm in here, you're definitely going to need more pearls, because I tried it with a 4mm and I used a 6mm in here because these are 8mm crystals and I didn't want them touching, and as you can see, they are not touching. If you use a smaller bead on the outside, this is going to bring them in closer together, so these might touch, and you might not want that, because I don't. Anyway, I'm going to clean this off and come back. Okay, and you're going to need your regular pliers, but you're going to need 2 pairs of pliers to do your wire loops, and you're going to need a pair of cutters, regular cutters, not your memory wire cutters. Okay, so first things first, let's get started on showing you how to cut your memory wire. Now, like I said, depending upon the size of your wrist, that's the size you're going to cut your memory wire. Now, I've cut my memory wire a wee bit bigger than what I normally would. Oops, I have a piece already cut in here. Yeah, this one's too small. I cut it a little bit bigger just so I can adjust it at the end of the bracelet. So when you're finished making your bracelet and you got a little too much memory wire, then by all means cut it off. It's not going to hurt cutting a little extra. Now over here you can see how memory wire just coils and coils and coils, right? So I'm going to take my memory wire and I'm going to leave a good 1.5 inches in this area where it overlaps. So I'm going to take my memory cutters and just cut right here. So here's my one piece, and as you can see, I probably got a good 1.5 inch where it overlaps. Now you're just going to cut the exact same size here. Don't cut it too much shorter because you don't want it being awkward. So with memory wire, you kind of have to pull it up and coil it around. So just start by measuring here. Follow your wire all the way around, all the way. As you can see, this is where I have to cut my second piece. So I'm just going to, it doesn't have to be exact, but you want them to be fairly same size. You don't want to have this one an inch short, because then you might wreck your bracelet. Okay, so there's my 2 pieces of memory wire that you need. You can use silver or gold. Actually, I don't have any gold memory wire. I'm actually going to order some because I have so many different color findings nowadays. You know, I upgraded. So we're done with these for now. So what you're going to do is set those aside. And for your chain, now I'm just going to, I ordered this chain and it come in 10-foot length. And I'm going to show you how to cut it. So I've cut one piece already to the length that I need. I roughly estimated it to this length here. So I cut my piece already. Now to get the other piece exactly the same, take a head pin or an eye pin. Put one end of each chain. So put one end on your actual chain like this. So I've got it like this. Let me see. Okay. Put one end like that. Where's the piece? Take one end of the piece that you've already cut to get them perfectly sized. Hold them there and then just bring this down and you can clearly see where you need to cut your chain to get it even. So I got to cut it there. Let's see how good I am with left hand. So I'm going to cut this right there maybe. Well, not really good with left hand. Okay, back to the right. I wasn't even cutting it. So you're just going to snip your chain off. Okay. And I'm going to leave this tight because I don't want my chain to unravel. Put it back in the package. And I got this chain off eBay before you guys all bombard me with questions where I got this chain. I just typed in silver plated chain. And I needed a lot like this, so I bought 2 of these because I got to make my daughter a whole bunch of necklaces. She likes them really long with just a dang one of her charms hanging off of it. So as you can see now, I've got 2 pieces of chain exactly the same size. So we're not working with any different lengths. So there's my 2 pieces of chain done. Alright, now what you're going to do with your memory wire is you're going to get a pair of, I hope you got a pair of round nose pliers. Okay. I'm actually going to use a stronger pair because these ones by Beadsmith, these mini ones, they're not that strong. So I'm going to get my stronger ones. So I'm working with stronger ones, because this is very strong wire. So you're going to grab one end of your memory wire. You're going to take a pair of round nose pliers. You're going to make your hole roughly, you don't want it too big. So I would say about there on your pliers. And just turn it. And keep working it. But don't make the hole too big. Turn it and turn it until it actually meets there. And I kind of twisted it. So I'll fix that. Yeah, once you've bent memory wire, you ain't fixing it. But I'm sure I will. There we go. Okay, so you have one loop like that. And now you're going to leave the other end open. And you're going to do the same thing on this one. You're going to make roughly the exact same size loop. So grab it about there. It's approximately where I had the other one. And turn. And turn. And keep turning. As you can see, it's very tough to turn this stuff. And I'm turning, and I'm kind of pressing with my thumb to help it along. So now we've got this one complete, and make sure you close off any gaps. You don't want any gaps in your memory wire. So you may have to pinch it with your pliers. And there we go. The gaps are gone. And this one's kind of bent outward and I don't like it. And this one has a wee bit of a gap. So let's close this gap up. There we go. Alright, so we're done with this. It's still not, I'm not liking this too much, what I did, but there. Now it's okay. So set this aside for now. Now you're going to get all three of your pliers, except for your memory wire cutters, you don't need those. You're going to take one head pin. And on these head pins, you can see there's a little gap on most head pins. They're not completely closed. There's always a little gap. First thing before you do anything, close that gap. So take your pliers and just seal it tight like that. Okay. Then you're going to pick up one crystal and 3 11-0 seed beads. Okay. You're going to give it a little bend with your finger. Hold your finger over top of the seed beads like this and just bend this over like that. So now you have this 90-degree angle. Perfect. Now take your wires, round nose pliers, these ones, stick it in this hole here on the other end so you can mimic the size you have there. So roughly there is the size of how far I need to put my pliers on. So let's go over here and make our loop. So stick your one end of your pliers on the bottom of this and one on the top. Then just take this piece, fold it over, use your thumb if you have to, like that. So it's completely folded over my pliers. Now give your pliers a wee turn, like this. Take this end and just continue wrapping it around that bottom part of your wire like that. So now you have a simple wire loop. Then you're going to take your pliers, your cutters, and where these two cross over, just snip it right there on the inside so you don't have a great big honker and tail here. Cut it off and take your pliers and flatten out that loop, straighten it out, close the gap if there's a gap, and then put one end of your loop on this side and put another pair of pliers on this side and turn these so they're both facing the same way, like that. Okay. Sometimes your eye pin will become a bit bent. Just straighten it up. That's all you need to do. So it's perfectly straight. And these two holes are facing the same way. That's the way they should be facing. Alright, I'll show you again. Grab an eye pin, a 6mm, or any crystal, whatever crystal you're going to use. Anything will look beautiful. Like that. Hold it down, hold these beads down with your thumb, bend this over. Try to mimic the size of the hole on this side as well as this side. So I'm going to make it right about there. Okay, fold it over like that. Give your pliers a turn and continue wrapping your loop like that. And then where it meets, just cut her off and close up your loop, your gap, like that. And then as you can see, they're not both facing the same way, so just grab one end, another plier, and give it a turn. And now they're both facing the same way. And then straighten up your pin, making sure this head pin other end is closed. And there you go. So now what you're going to do is make a stack of these. Let's make a green one. Okay, this here, let's close off this gap on the eye pin. I can see it's open. There we go. Pick up 3 seed beads on top of your crystal, like that. Bend it over. Take your pliers, sandwich that between your pliers, roughly, not too far, because you want to mimic that size. Fold it over like that. Turn your pliers and like that. And remove the pliers, trim it off, and then straighten up that loop. Like so. And sometimes you might want to just use your pliers to fix your loop, which is fine. Okay, grab your pliers, both ends, and make sure they're facing the same way, like that. And there we go. Now, what you're going to do is grab your 2 pieces. Once you have a whole bunch of these made, you're going to grab, it's going to be a bit finicky to get started, but once you get started, it'll be good. So you're going to grab both of your, I always put this memory wire, wrap it around my fingers like this. Okay, ouch. Try to get them as even as possible. So hold them over your fingers like this. Make sure they're not crossed like that. And just kind of push these away with your index finger like that. So to get started on both ends here is you're going to string on 2 pearls first. So you're going to put on 1 pearl on one side, let it fall, and you're going to put another pearl on the other side and let it fall. Then you're going to take your component, little connector here, what do you call this, unit, and you're going to put it on here, one end on one and one end on the other, like that. Okay, then you're going to take a pearl and you're going to put a pearl on each side like this, and another pearl. So you have one of your components facing this way, so the next one you put on, you're going to put it this way. So they're up, they're both in different directions. So now this one's facing this way. Okay, so now you're going to put on 2 pearls, one on each. So there's one. And there's one. Nope, not yet. Got snagged. Okay, and now I'm going to do my second color, but I'm going to put it on this way. So it's opposite to the other one. So it's facing this way. Okay, that's all you're going to do. And bring it all down to your end here. So push it all down so it meets like this. So there's the start of your bracelet. That's all you're going to do. You're going to do this all the way around, making these little tiny components, adding a pearl or whatever you use in the ends here. And I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish doing this, making these components. And when I'm done, I'm going to come back and show you how to finish off the ends, how to add your chain, and how to wear your bracelet. So get this done. When you lay it down, it's just going to go like that. But when you pick it back up, make sure you make these both sitting exact same way so you don't get your memory wires crossed or twisted. Okay, like that. And that's it, my friends. I'll be back when I'm done. So, see you. Okie doke. So once you get to the end of your amount of beads that you want to put on your memory wire. And look at how pretty this looks. It's very Christmassy. Very opulent. You can see I have a whole whack of wire left over, and I'm not going to be using that. So what you want to do now is you want to leave at least 1/4 of an inch, enough to turn both those under and make the same kind of loop there as you did here. So just leave about 1/4 of an inch and snip that off. Careful you don't lose your beads. And do the same on this side. Make sure it's snug. There. Now you're going to grab your round nose pliers and you're going to give this tight, and you're going to roll, roll, and roll till it meets like that. Till that ends nice and tight. Then you're going to do the same thing here. Grab an end and roll it till it meets, almost hits into the pearl. As you can see, it did. So I wanted this nice and snug here, so I'm going to fix this. Close this gap. Good and tightly closed. And then bring that one up. There we go. And now that one's closed. Yep. Good and closed. So there is your bracelet. It's not going anywhere. Look at how pretty. Very Christmassy. As you can see, I have a huge gap here, but I'm not making this for me, so. Alright. Now, to finish off these ends, it's going to be a tiny bit finicky, but grab a head pin. Now go through the hole of, like that hole there seems to be pretty big, and I don't want my head pin to go through it, and I don't know how I got that one so big. But we'll fix that like that. Now, take a head pin and put it in one end. Now you can put what you want on this head pin, but I'm just going to stick 2 pearls because I think the pearls look nice on finishing off the edge of this. So put on 2 pearls and then bring your head pin back down enough that you can fit it through there. Now you want to do the same thing, make a simple wire loop like this end. So you're just going to take your head pin, fold it over, grab your needle nose or your round nose pliers, and you're going to make a simple loop, same as you did before. But you want to make it big enough the hole that it's not going to go right through this where it's sitting in here. So it's going to be a bit challenging to do this, but it will work. Grab another pair of pliers, push this down as much as you can, take the tip of a plier and round it off as much as you can. You can see this is what I've got. It's very finicky, or get a longer head pin. I don't know why I didn't just do that. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this off here. Oopsies. I bring that up. I'm going to trim it off here. And now I'm going to finish out my loop. Like that. So, hopefully my loop doesn't fit. So it doesn't come out on either side. So let me show you again. There's the finished, and you want to make sure both of these are facing the same way like you did with the components, your little units. Make sure they're both facing that way, or up anyway. Grab a head pin, put it through one end of your end, put 2 pearls on it, or crystals, or whatever you're using. I just find these pearls here are very smooth on the skin, and rest assured they're They're very soft and silky on your skin. Now bring those down and bring that end up. Bend it over. Bring your round nose pliers in here and begin making a wire wrap loop. Like that. As I can see, it's going to be a bit finicky for me, so I'm just going to trim this off. Like so. Push this back up. And close out my loop. And there you go. Make sure it's good and tight. And they're both actually facing the same way. Now, all we got to do now is put our chain on. What did I do with my chain? Right here. Now, this is going to be challenging again, but all you're going to do is pull this nice and tight here, open one end, stick your chain on, and close this loop back up. And you may have to pinch it in your fingers like that. Okay? You're going to do the same over here. Pinch it nice and tight. If I can get it. Open one loop. You don't have to open them huge if you're putting a thin piece of chain in there. And drop your chain in there. Close this loop back up. Nice and tight. Like that. Okay? So, open up your loop. Not too much. But, see, that's why. It got away on me. There. Get out. Get out of there. Now, stay put. Ah. See, it's a bit challenging. Put your chain on, get in there. Not a big enough gap there. Get out. There we go. Ta-da. Close this up fast. Let me make sure it's closed. And it is. Alright, now go over here and do the same thing. Push it. Make a little opening, turn it. Always twist your loops open, don't pull them open. And close it up tight. And that is it. Your bangle is bangling. Let me see if this will fit me anyway. Oh sure, it's a little snug fitting, but hey, that works for me. Look at that. Super easy, elegant bracelet. Look at that. Gorgeous. So now we've got two lovely bangles. Jingle jangle bangles. Look at this. Beautiful. That's it, guys. That's your beautiful bracelet. Kind of hard to turn this into a necklace unless you have the necklace memory wire to do this, but it would be gorgeous. I don't know how you would do double like that because I don't think that'll fit on your neck. So this is two different size bracelets, you can see. Smaller one and a bigger one. Anyway, I hope you guys have fun making this and enjoy it. I enjoyed making these and I think they're really versatile, coming with regards to all different kinds of beads. You can use just about any kind of bead on here, whatever your little heart's content. So I'll see you all soon on the next video. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.